little barbecue cookout for Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all you guys out there. We're gonna have steaks, chicken kebabs, shrimp. We're gonna do some potatoes on the kind of cooktop, and we're gonna make corn, mushrooms, and grill up some garlic bread. So let's start by making our little marinades for our chicken and our shrimp, and then we'll season up our steaks. So I'm gonna start, and we're gonna juice a little, get some lemon going here. This will be for our juicing, and then I wanna prep up my herbs to go over our shrimp and our steak and things. So we're gonna do for our steak, we're gonna use some rosemary on it. So keep it simple, garlic, salt, black pepper, rosemary. And then for our shrimp and our chicken, we're gonna do a little garden medley of basil, oregano, and thyme. So I'm just gonna pull off my little oregano leaves from any of my big stalks here. Get a little bit of that off. There we go. A couple more. Just don't want any of those little more woodsy stalks in it because they'll just get nice and chewy in our things. Okay, so we got basil, oregano, and thyme in here. And then I'm gonna just mince this up really nicely, and then we're gonna split it between our two things, between our shrimp and our chicken kebabs. We're gonna throw it in I've got some melted butter right here, so we'll throw it in there to kind of infuse up the butter. So we're gonna just mince it up real nice and fine so that we can get more coverage on our shrimp and chicken. There we go. And fresh herbs are gonna really make this, really bring it up a notch over dried herbs. They're just a bit, just nicer, more fragrant. There we go. So now I've got my minced up herbs here. I'm gonna add this into my melted butter. This is 1 stick of salted butter. We're gonna add this in here, and this is gonna be both for our chicken and our shrimp to give it a nice extra flavor. So we're gonna add that in there. And then we're gonna add in a little bit of garlic here to season it up. We're gonna add about a tablespoon. So if you wanted to use fresh garlic, that would be about 5 to 6 cloves. Get that lid back on, and now we're gonna squeeze in lemon juice. We're gonna do juice from 1 whole lemon. So this is gonna be like a lemon herby butter that we're gonna put over our shrimp and our chicken kebabs. There we go. And then my little trick is I'm actually gonna save these lemons for cleaning up my cooktop later because the acid on it is great for kind of degreasing and cleaning it up. Let's add a little bit of garlic salt here. We're gonna aim, since we've got a lot over here, for about 1.5 teaspoons of garlic salt. And then I just have some little bit of Mrs. Dash's blend. We're gonna add about 1 teaspoon in here. And then last, a little bit of pepper. A couple little shakes here. I'm gonna mix this up. And then we're gonna spoon this over our shrimp and our chicken. So this is our nice herby lemon butter here. It will be so delicious on it. So we're gonna just kind of spoon it over our chicken. Let it get all these nice kind of flavors in it. There we go. And then we're gonna spoon some more over our shrimp, and then I'll go back over to our chicken. It's got a very fresh, herby smell to it. And then a little bit more onto our chicken. Okay. We'll be saving this later because we'll make some butter for our corn on the cob. There we go.
You have a question? Are you grilling tonight for dinner?
Tonight, I think we'll probably, we're gonna go back home and we'll be inside. We're gonna do some smash burgers tonight. So we're doing a big kind of lunch, Father's Day lunch at my parents' house. And then tonight we'll probably just do some smash burgers inside. Okay, so I've tossed up my shrimp here. So we'll go on the grill. I've got steaks that we're gonna season up here in just a second. And now I've got my chicken kebabs, which I'm gonna just kind of twirl in the sauce as much as possible here. Let it sit there, but these will go on our grill as well. Let's get our steaks here marinated and just a simple dry rub on them. Super simple today. I'm gonna use garlic salt. Sprinkle a little over. And then we're gonna do some black pepper. And then I'm gonna dice up my rosemary here that I got from my garden, or I should say from my parents' garden. And
question, what ages are your kids?
they range from 20 months to 15, but they go 15, 4, soon to be 10, 13, and then 15 at the end. So we've got a wide range to go through here. They always keep us on our feet. So next week we'll be starting our camping adventures, and you know, I'm always sitting there and I always am like worried, oh, the little ones are gonna be the hardest. You know, it's always the older ones that are harder. They can voice their complaints a little louder. Okay, we've got our rosemary here. And I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of this on the front, and then we're gonna flip it over and we'll sprinkle some on the other side as well. So just a little. Let me grab a fork here. And we'll flip each steak over, and we're gonna garlic salt it, pepper, and put rosemary on it as well. And let it kind of soak in, and then we'll put these on the grill in just a little bit. Okay. Where's my garlic salt? We'll give it a good shaky shake. And some pepper. So really simple because we want the steak to shine. I don't really dress up my steak all that much. I keep them very simple. Now we're gonna put some rosemary on it. Just give it a nice extra deliciousness. Okay. Perfect. So we're gonna let those sit for a second while we prep up our veggies for our lunch here. We're gonna do some onions. These are gonna go with our potatoes, so I'm gonna just do kind of a nice little dice on them. It's got 2 here, 2 little ones, or you could use 1 big one.
You got a question? Who set up your outdoor kitchen?
I actually designed this myself. So this is my parents' one, but I designed it for them because I'm like the cooking nerd in our family. And I thought I did a pretty good job. I researched on what were like really good products, what I wanted. I tried to do a nice design fitting the deck that she had. And I really like it. It's really nice. And of course, it helps that she has this amazing backyard to begin with. And then they've got a little cool like Michael Phelps swim spa up there. So that's where the kids are enjoying themselves right now. But it's a nice little, I will say this is one of the envious, outdoor kitchens of your dreams. It is, I'm very envious of it, but at least I get to cook on it, so that's a win. But she's got all the bells and whistles here. She even there's like a fridge here. We've got these are pull-out fridges as well. So just lots of snazzy stuff, And then of course just the scenery is gorgeous. We've got all the beautiful trees and the screeching jack. Okay, so we've got our onions here chopped up. And those are gonna be with our potatoes. And now let's kind of prep up our potatoes. We're gonna do these on our little cooktop over there. So I've got some baby Dutch yellow potatoes, which will cook up really well, assuming I can open them. There we go. Let me grab a bowl here. Now I'm gonna quarter these because I want them to be nice and small so they cook up fairly quickly, because I don't want to be waiting forever for them to kind of cook up. So now you could always use a russet potato and everything. Looks like Little Teddy's having a moment up there. They all spent the night at my parents' house last night, so I think they stayed up a little bit late. Are you okay, Teddy Bear? Yeah. Okay, let's get these chopped up. He's up there with his grandma. Over there. I think he bonked his foot on the part of the pool there. Okay, we've got our potatoes here. We're gonna do our baby yellow Dutches. We're gonna chop them up nice and small. Okay. There we go. And the reason why I'm doing them small is because you want them to be little because if they're big, they won't get tender fast, and then they'll be firm and crunchy, and nobody wants a crunchy potato on here. So we're gonna go through. You could use honestly, on the cooktop, you could use really any potato you wanted. They all work well. So I always just think about what's gonna be these. And I was like, well, these are always good. I feel like they have the waxiness of the baby Dutch. It's just so much more tender and a little bit more flavorful. So we'll pick up some of those nice little sauteing up there. And then we'll also have corn on the cob, which we'll throw on our grill. And some mushrooms we'll saute up because steak and mushrooms just sounds delicious. Here we go. I'm gonna take this first batch here since we've got a large bit going. Get them in here. We'll get ready for the next set. We're cooking for, 9 today? So always feeding a small army here. And leftovers, you know, when you do a nice big grill out things, there's nothing better than grilled food, I feel like. It's so delicious. It's one of those things I'm looking forward to next week. We're going on our camping trip, so we're gonna be doing a lot of camp cooking, and nothing is better than food cooked over a campfire. It's just so delicious. We all talk about still, like last year we did our big camping trip through the Black Hills and the Badlands. We saw Mount Rushmore and all of that. And we still talk about how we had the best steaks we ever had was at there. I cooked them over my campfire, and we had got them at this small, tiny grocery store in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the town probably only had like 500 people, and it was so good. Get a few more. We don't need quite all of these, but potatoes are going to be the hit in here. Everyone loves potatoes as their veggies, except the little boys. Oh, it's so funny. They absolutely love corn on the cob, and it's just fun to see how they eat it. And they're always like, I need another one. And I'm like, you took like 20 random bites on this corn on the cob. Okay, let's get these. Then we're gonna prep up our garlic bread that we'll just fire up in the my pizza oven here. It's a sourdough that I made the other day, so I'm just gonna slice it. We'll put some garlic butter on it and toast it up so it gets a nice little crispy taste to it. I lost the potato down there. There we go. Just a few more here. I will say the difference, one of the main difference between cooking outdoors and indoors is while I do have a sink, an outdoor sink over here, it's like all the way on the other side. So you always got to do a little bit more prep for these meals versus, you know, straight up in your kitchen, because you can't be running back and forth between the sink as often. Okay, we've got our potatoes prepped here. And then we're just gonna make a quick garlic butter, and then we will add them we'll coat up our bread. Okay, so here's my sourdough that we made the other day. This is the one that we made with our starter. I was saving it. We were gonna do melts last night, and then we ended up going out to eat for dinner. So I was like, this will be perfect to make some garlic bread on our pizza oven. So I'm gonna cut nice, big, thick sections. And again, we made this with our first starter that we started a week ago, because everybody's been asking about how to make a starter. And so I was like, oh, I'll do another one, kind of a quick one for everyone. And it turned out great. It was actually the best starter I've ever made because I got so much bubble on it. And I think it's because it's been so hot in our house, like warmer, that fermentation process just sped up a lot quicker. So I'm gonna make some really big, look at this, These are gonna go on a pizza oven thing, but I wanna have nice big chunks that we can kind of cut in half here. And there we go. So we've got these big ones. We're gonna spread them with some softened butter. Put that over there, we'll save it. Those will probably make a good croutons for a salad. So you're gonna want some room temperature or fly. That's what you get in an outdoor kitchen. There we go. So we're gonna take our soft butter here. And this is really soft because it's out here and it's like 83 degrees out here maybe. And we're just gonna rub it on our garlic bread, or our bread. Just make it nice and buttery so it'll crisp up fast and get a lot of great flavor. There we go. And where's my garlic salt? I'm gonna sprinkle a little garlic salt over it. There, just a smidge. And these will get in the pizza oven. These will cook really fast in like 2 minutes. They'll crisp up nicely. So they'll be a nice little side to have with it. Okay, I think we are ready to move over and start doing our next step. Okay, let me grab this potato before I slip on it. And yep, we're gonna go over here. We're gonna go to the grill first. And we're gonna put our steaks on. So I have my grill heating up. It is nice and hot here. I'm gonna now turn it down to a medium now that I have it nice and hot because I don't wanna burn. There's a ducky. I don't wanna burn my steaks. I want them to sear up nicely. And these are good, a little over an inch thick steaks. So these are gonna cook up fairly, they're gonna take about, I wanna say around 8 minutes on each side, maybe a little less depending on it, but it's going to be scrumptious. We're gonna add these on first because these are gonna take the longest to cook. Out of our meat, our chicken kebabs will go on next, and then last our shrimp because they don't need it. And then we'll put our corn on in a little bit.
Hey, you got a question? What's the seasoning on the steaks?
Just super simple, garlic salt, black pepper, and a little bit of fresh rosemary. So we kept it really basic here. My trick here is when you're loading on your steaks, load it on with aluminum foil so you have a clean baking sheet to move it off on. Okay, let's get our skillet potatoes working over here. Okay, I've got my butter. I'm gonna turn this down because I've had it heating up. I always have mine really heat up high so that they will get nice and kill off any of the leftover germs.
You got a question? Will you be filming on the camping trip?
We will be filming on the camping trip as much as we can. We're hoping to do, we'll do breakfasts and dinners most nights at the campsite. So we'll try to film those assuming we get reception. We'll be near national parks in the middle of nowhere. But yes, we'll be filming. They might get posted as videos if the lives won't work. But we'll be filming there, and we'll also be doing some little like video ones of our little camping, like our hiking trails, exploring the national parks, the national forests. So it'll be lots of fun. I'm excited about it. I've been finally getting finished planning everything. So I've thrown on my onions. We're gonna let them kind of toast up nicely right here. And then I'm gonna start getting my mushrooms over here in this bit. So let me grab my mushrooms. Got just a plate. This is about a pound of baby bellas. We got a little escape artists here. There we go. I will say these are removable grease traps so that once you cook and you clean it, you can scrape it and then you can take those out and wash them. It's really nice. Okay, let's spread these guys out. We're gonna let my onions cook up just a smidge and then we'll throw our potatoes on. There we go. I'm gonna keep my mushrooms on low, and then with my potatoes, we're gonna cook them a little bit higher. And towards the end of cooking these, we are gonna add some spices to them. There we go. I'm gonna coat them up in that butter. Like to mix it up, really coat all of the potatoes in it so that it gets that nice, good, crispy flavor on it. break up any of those pieces. I always feel like I'm a short line cook at a 50s diner when I'm cooking over a little griddle top like this. Okay. And my thing is I make sure I really stir it up and get everything kind of coated in that butter before, because potatoes are like sponges, and so they'll start like taking up all that butter really quickly. And so you want to make sure you get your whole potato coated in it. Now that they're coated, I'm going to spread them out so that they can kind of cook as evenly as possible. You want them to be flat. There we go. These will be delicious. And then we've got our mushrooms. We'll give them a nice little stir. Popping them off. And we'll season up our mushrooms with some garlic salt towards the end. But again, I like them to crisp up without the salt first. Mushrooms are slipping and sliding today. One goes on, one goes off. We'll slide them out. Okay. Let's take, I'm going to start getting our things over here ready. We'll put our corn on the cob on in just a second. We're just going to go on our grill. Get over here. I'm going to start moving all of our little bits and stuff over here. So we've got our shrimp is our last thing going on because the shrimp cooks so fast. So we want to make sure we don't overcook it on there.
You got several bless yous in the chat.
Thank you. Look at our beautiful. Now I'm going to turn this back one all the way down to a lower one, and we're going to put our corn on the cob. Corn, I just have them washed right now. I'm going to melt some butter and we'll brush that on there, but corn on the top will take a little bit longer than the chicken kebabs to cook up because you want it to get nice and tender all the way through. You can also grill your corn on the cob inside your husks if you wanted to, but I always just find it's really hard to peel them up and get that corn silk off, so I always give mine a nice little trim and get it up. Here we go.
You have a question. If you did the potatoes and the mushrooms on the stove, would you use 2 different pans?
Yes, I would use 2 different pans. You could even do the potatoes in the oven if you wanted to have more room. You toss them with the butter and then just do them on a high roast of like 425. Okay, we're gonna let those sit for a little bit, then we'll add in our shrimp and our chicken here.
And you have a question, what brand is the pizza oven?
This is an Alpha. So this is the Alpha, and this is their the big honkin' Alpha. They have a smaller one, but we'll pop it in here. But it has, someone's a little warm. You keep this window on it to keep it nice and to keep the air from blowing out the flame on the side. And it's up to really high, so I'm going to turn it down because we don't need it quite as high. But I do love it. There we go. The flames come in on this side, so it heats up really well. It makes the best pizza. So we actually made pizzas on here and flatbreads, like flatbread naan on here, like last weekend and stuff like that. So we have those videos up on our profile page if you want to check them out. But so good. You can't beat it. I have like a mini indoor pizza oven at my house. Not nearly as delicious as this. Okay, let's get these mushrooms tossed. They're starting to get that nice little charring up, that brown crust on it. That's why I love skillet mushrooms. They're so good. The trick is, you don't want to stir them non-stop. I'm going to go through, we're going to stir these a little bit and then let them sit. Okay. Beautiful. Now turn it up higher on here because I want those potatoes to get a nice crisping on them. There we go. Let's go check out our steaks now. I think we're going to be ready to probably flip our steak.
You have a question, are all these cabinets waterproof?
They are. So everything out here is designed for an outdoor kitchen. Even these countertops are designed for an outdoor one. So they're heat rated, they're waterproof, the cabinets are waterproof. They've got like that kind of galvanized and then like a coating on it to make them extra, but they are wonderful. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit since we've got them cooking up so nicely here, and I'm going to see if I can get them all in a row now. But look at these beautiful sears on them. So we've got our gorgeous, these are New York strips. And now let me do the chicken. I think I can do that with you. We're going to put our chicken on our chicken little skewers. Now if you use chicken skewers and you're not familiar with them, you do need to soak your skewers at least overnight so that they don't catch on fire. That way the wet wood will stay nice and wet, and they'll help keep your chicken nice and tender and moist. So always pre-soak your skewers.
You got a comment that good call on steak and not salmon for Father's Day.
I think there would be a mutiny. I almost bought salmon too, but then I was like, I don't know if my husband would like that, if he would be happy with that choice. Okay, let me get this. Got a little bit of this butter here. We could probably cause it to flame up a little, but I'm not going to waste any of my good butter. Get some nice of these herby flavors on it. Now the butter will cause the flames to spike up, but it will only be temporarily. Okay, got that. This will be my thing. So let's flip our corn over and rotate it. Let's start over here. Getting a nice, you can start to see it getting that more vibrant yellow hue to it. Look at that. It's gorgeous. I love corn on the cob. I'm originally from Iowa, and while Tennessee does not have as good of corn as Iowa, I think I'm just a corn on the cob lover for life. Okay. Let's get those cooking. Let me slide this right out of the way. Again, we'll add our shrimp on towards the end. For our corn, I'm going to use my same little pot that I had before. And then I'm going to put it right here on my skillet. So in case you didn't notice this, these cooktops are like the same as if you were using, like you can heat things up on it. So you can put an actual pot on here. So as long as it's, heat rated, it works. So I'm going to put my little pot on here and we're going to melt this butter. This is going to be for our corn on the cob. Smush a little butter over here too, because who doesn't love more butter on their potatoes? Okay. Let me get this kind of in there. We're going to let it melt up. We'll add a little bit of garlic salt in there, and we'll brush that over our corn the next time we check on it. Okay. Scraping this off. Look at these mushrooms. They are crisping up wonderfully. I'm going to turn them up just a smidge and flatten them out. You want to try to get as much surface area on your cooktop as possible so you get that lovely little brittle flavor to it. Oh, scrumptious. Okay, let's go in. We're going to flip these. There we go. We're starting to get that nice, good brown sear on it. You could even, and I've done this before, is you cook up bacon first. And then you put your potatoes, like you cook it in the bacon grease, and it's so good. There we go.
You have a question? Do you prefer garlic salt over garlic powder?
Yes, and when I use garlic salt, then I don't use any actual salt because I just think garlic salt has such a great flavor, and it doesn't quite have the texture that garlic powder is. I feel like garlic powder doesn't dissolve in my food as nicely. With it, and I can add garlic salt on towards the end, you know what I mean, and it will still dissolve up nicely. Okay, let's get this spread out. Look at that. You can see my butter here is melting up nicely. We're going to sprinkle on some spices here. So I've just got, this is the same, this is Kirkland's brand, but it's like Mrs. Dash's Everything Blend. It's a great blend for seasoning up potatoes. So we're going to sprinkle onto our potatoes here. And we're going to be generous with it. There we go. And then we're going to do some garlic salt.
Kids getting crazy.
I know the kids are getting crazy. They've been in the pool for like 3 hours now. They've been loving it. But they were up late. And you know how kids are when they're up late and they are loving it, but then they're cranky little bones next day. Okay, we'll remember our garlic bread is gonna go in at the very end, but not beforehand because we don't want it to get charred too quickly. Okay, let's flip our chicken skewers over. Ah, and not as easy. They go on much easier. I also say metal skewers work really well too. But I will say if you get the wooden skewers, they give you that nice kind of like woodsy flavor to it. You know, like cedar plank salmon. I love cedar plank salmon. If I can grab it. I like, the thing is with, when you have a big grill like this, you've got to use a really long tongs. And these ones are long, but they're a little bit cumbersome. I'll need to bring over a pair of my good ones from our house. There we go. So we've got those going on. I'm gonna give my feel, and these are about ready to come off. I like ours at a medium rare. So let me grab my little thing. You want your, we'll do this one. You want to take your steaks off with enough time for them to rest and kind of get a nice juices, so you don't want to take them off and cut them right away. You want about a 5-minute rest. Look at these gorgeous steaks. So beautiful. Look at those grill marks. Makes you feel like you're a professional. Grab this right over here and outdoor cooking must. Don't want any flies on my steaks.
You have a question? Can you show the field test again for steaks and what you're looking for?
Yes. So there, when you push them, the trick is with your face. So you mind to do it. So this is medium rare where this is rare where your cheeks are, and then your nose, your chin is medium rare, your nose is medium, and your forehead is well done. So those, if it's gonna feel like that squish. So that's why I always say, I always learned it with the way your face is. So your cheeks, that if your steak feels like your cheek feels, that's gonna be rare. It's gonna be not cooked all the way through, you know, if you like it that way. I like mine as a medium rare, so it's gonna feel like my chin. And then medium is your nose, and then well done is your chin. Let me grab my butter
And well
here.
done is your forehead.
Yeah, well done is your forehead. No, sorry. Misspoke for a second. And get my things, and we're gonna do a little brush of our butter over. We're gonna do just a quick brushing over it. Well, let me rotate it first, and then we will brush them, and then we'll add garlic salt the second time around to it. But again, we're just gonna rotate everyone. See if I can just do it. There we go. A little roll. That way I don't have to do so much. And I don't do the butter until like towards the end, because as you see, the butter will add the little flame up, which will give it a nice little crispy, but that flame will go away in about a second or two. I'm gonna turn this medium up a little high. We're gonna add on our shrimpies over here. And then we're gonna pop our bread in the oven, in our pizza oven. So these are jumbo, colossal shrimp that are raw. Best thing about shrimp when you know they're done is they'll be pink. They cook really fast, but always get the raw ones, because if you buy the pink ones, yeah, you can cook them up, but they're gonna be rubbery, and you want a nice tender but cooked through one, not rubbery. There we go. You could also put these on skewers if you wanted. Go. We're gonna add this in here. A few more left. Again, remember we're cooking for a small army. Okay, let's get, so hot right now. We're gonna put our garlic bread that we made. We're gonna pop it right here. So I'm just gonna place it on. We'll probably do 2 at a time. We're gonna let it kind of cook up, melt the butter, crisp up. It'll be delicious. So it's great for like even toasting up. You don't have to use it just for pizzas or naan or flatbreads, giving you that nice crispy crust on it. Okay, let's give these a nice stir. There we go. You can see we're getting these lovely crispy edges on our potatoes. So we're winding down to the last few minutes of our lunch here. One thing that's nice about cooking outside is it goes really fast. I think mainly because you can cook so many different things in so many areas. And then just the cooking time, it's so much easier because it cooks at a high temperature. There we go. Perfect. And let's get our mushrooms up. Ah, man overboard. And the nice things about these is they're not that hard to cook up. You just need to have some tools. All you need is like a scraper and whatnot.
You have a question. What brand is the cooktop and the grill?
The cooktop and the grill, they're Lynx, and I believe they're the Sonoma collection by Lynx. So they're really bougie. Again, these are my parents. But they cook wonderfully. I will say Blacktop, like a Blackstone, is also a really great cooktop. To have that is really affordable. That's what we're going to be putting in our house because this is like bougie, but very nice. I won't say it. I said this is a treat. It does cook wonderfully on here. Let's give our little, let me see. We can flip these over now. You can see they're already starting to get nice and pink on the other side. And we want to flip them. There we go. Once I get in the right motion, it's easier. They're a little cumbersome. This is like your big boy grilling tools. There we go. So we're gonna give these things, we have our steaks sitting. Remember, you wanna take your steaks off and let them sit for a minimum of 5 minutes before cutting into them. Because if you cut into them while they're still super hot, what happens is they're all of their nice juices inside that keep them nice and tender just slide right out. You need it to cool down. You need those juices to set because you don't want your steak to dry out and be tough by the end of your last, bite. And that's why you're gonna cook it and then it lets it sit, which will end up cooking it a smidge more. And that will give you that perfect juicy steak.
You got a question? Who's the outdoor cook at your parents' house, your mom or your dad?
It's me. They've never even used this. It's me. I'm the only one who uses it. I think it was their way to lure me over with the grandchildren. So we live like 3 miles away, and there's a pool, and they enjoy the food. And I think when they retire, I'm sure my mom will learn how to do it. Probably not, but it's me. She retires in a couple of years, so I think she's putting in all the things she wants now so that when she comes to retirement, it's already here and ready for her to use, which is smart. Okay, let's give these another little roll because they are almost done. You can tell when they're done is when the whole corn cob gets that nice vibrant color to it. And look, I love the little char. It's like street corn. If you wanted this to be more like street corn, you can make a mix with mayo, lime juice, cojita cheese, and a little bit of garlic salt, and you could sprinkle it over, and you could have your street corn. Okay, let's check out our things here. Look at that, beautiful. I'm gonna slide them around, get a little bit more heat on them. It's nice and toasty in there. There we go, they're crisping up nicely. I'm gonna put my door on to get that last little crunch on them. You can't, with the alpha, This is a window that keeps the heat in there, but you can't actually push it all the way up because then what happens is you'll turn out your flame because it doesn't have enough oxygen to keep it going. Okay, let's give these again another thing. We'll see. We're going to test out, see how they're feeling tender-wise. We're getting there. Beautiful.
You got a question? Do you put Worcestershire on burgers?
I do put Worcestershire on burgers. I also put Worcestershire on, let's see which one I want to use. I think this one will be for the potato. I also typically use it on steak as well, but I ran out and I was at the store yesterday and this is the third time I've gone to the store and I've forgotten to pick out Worcestershire. But I do love Worcestershire on burgers and steak. I think it's the acidity of it helps kind of cut down the fat in it, which leaves you a really tender and juicy burger. Okay, we've got our mushrooms coming off right here. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn up my griddle right here to high, and I'm gonna spread my potatoes out with this last little bit. There we go. And then this is kind of my trick. We're gonna get them to warm up and tenderize where you don't have to spend 30 minutes trying to get them to tenderize. We're gonna kind of put them in a rectangle here, and then I have a baking sheet that like has a ridge, and I'll put it right over the top. So it's what I put my bread on. You just flip this, and that's gonna steam it up really quick for the last like 2 to 3 minutes. It's gonna give you a really nice, tender, but crispy potato. So it's a good hack because otherwise sometimes it takes forever to cook your potatoes out here. If you do this, it will be perfect. Those look almost ready. Let's check on these. Ooh, these are looking gorgeous. Let me grab. And we're gonna start taking off our chicken and then our shrimpies.
You have a question? Do you ever make veggie burgers?
I do not. I have when I was younger. I went through, we did all sorts of things, but nobody in my family really cares for veggie burgers.
Nope, not doing it.
Yeah, my husband he's not for it. Now in my younger years with my mom, we like went through this, I feel like it was the 2000s and it was the uber health and everything. And you know, back when I was, 5'9" and 130 pounds in my skinny youth, I can dream of those days. But 5 kids later, here I am. But yes, I had made veggie burgers, black bean burgers, we made salmon burgers, tuna burgers. We have done it all. But I like a burger and steak. I don't think I could ever be a vegetarian. I love vegetables, don't get me wrong, but I do love my proteins in there. And so I've always suffered with anemia, so the best source of iron for me is red meat or liver. My mom loves it. I do not. Okay, look at these gorgeous shrimps. Then we're gonna get our corn off, and then our potatoes. We'll probably only check on our bread because I don't want to have an incident like the flatbread last week where I left it for a second and poof. We got these gorgeous. Our shrimpies here, look how gorgeous they look. Wonderful. Now I will say, if you're doing outdoor cooking, gotta get these little things. They help just keep the little flies away. Okay. Let's get our garlic bread out. Beautiful. So they'll have a nice crispy edge on the bottom. You see how you've got this nice crispy edge? Woo, it's hot, but then you've got that nice butter on the top. You could even throw cheese on these if you wanted. Slide these right over here. So we've got, this is our homemade sourdough. We made our sourdough starter that we had started last week. And I cut it up. We spread some butter and garlic salt on it. I'm gonna turn this guy off. And now let's get our corn, and then we can get our potatoes. Am I gonna be able to fit my corn and my potatoes in here? Maybe. We'll try. Oh, before I am gonna give them, before I put it on here, one last little rub Let me get my garlic salt because that's going to give you a little extra. Okay. We're going to put in a little garlic salt in here, about a teaspoon.
You have a question. Is the pizza oven built in or is it just resting on top?
It is just resting on top. Now,
Kinda. It has a gas line running
yes,
to it.
it does. I said that it has a gas line running to it. You can get them to be on propane, but my mom had gas lines run to all of this, so you never have to worry about propane. Look at this. Beautiful. We'll add those up here. But yes, it does just rest on top of the thing, so it's not bolted into the countertop or not. It just rests there, and it's great. Beautiful. I know one of these times we'll do, she has a big green egg over there. We'll get it going up one time. So it's under there. It's like the big one where you can do turkeys on it, like 2 turkeys. I did a turkey on it for Thanksgiving last year, and it was amazing. Beautiful. Okay, look at our corn on the cob. I'm gonna turn all of these guys off. The nice thing about this is the light goes off, it's turned off. It has a thermocoil if you're not used to that, which is like a heating coil that heats up, and that's what light it versus one that is on like a little tick 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 one. I know that's a little starter there. Okay, let's get this glove on because this will be a little bit hot. So you see how it's all steamed up in there? But look at that. Now, look at our potatoes. They're nice and soft and tender and so much flavor. Okay, let's get them scraped up on here, and then we should be able to serve up. We'll be ready for our little thing. There we go. Beautiful. I love skillet potatoes. You can't go wrong with little skillet potatoes here. They all have those nice little tender crispy edges on it, which is just going to make them fantastic. Okay, that should be good. And now let's get our feast ready, and you guys will show you everything that's on here. Okay. So we have our New York strips, our mushrooms, our skillet on our flatbread potatoes. Those are baby Dutch with some garlic, salt, and herbs. We grilled our corn on the cob and brushed them with some garlic butter. Then we marinated our shrimp with a lemon, butter, and fresh herbs from the garden. It was basil, thyme, and oregano. And then we made our chicken here as well in that same marinade on the kebabs, and we grilled them up. And then we have our sourdough bread that we made up. This is from the starter we started last week. We baked it up. We put butter and garlic salt on it and then crisp it up in the pizza oven for a delicious Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all you guys out there. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys get a barbecue feast like this at home. Again, thank you for joining us here today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to do live cooking shows every single day, show you what we're making, and hopefully teach you guys something along the way. Again, we do upload all of our videos to the link on our page, so you can, if you want to recreate any of these recipes at home, you can always go to that link and search for whatever we're cooking and watch again with us. We also have an Amazon storefront, so any of the little cool gadgets you saw here, we have added up into our storefront, so you can check that out as well. Well guys, thank you again for joining us here today, and a happy